Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Otafest podcast. I'm Jay, and I've got Nancy and Angelo.
It's me.
Hello.
Hello.
Good friends, good voices.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi, Angelo.
Hi, Jay.
Hello.
Hi, audience.
Hello, members.
Hi, Angelo.
Just a reminder that Otafest 2022 early bird tickets are now available. Head to otafest.com for all the details. A quick reminder that Otafest 2022 will be a 2-day event rather than our traditional 3-day event. In keeping in the interests of everyone's health, we will be requiring that all attendees have masks and will be checked for vaccination status. So yeah, I guess that's a thing. Otafest.
Otafest.
That thing that we have this podcast for.
I've heard about it many
Gasp.
times. I may have participated in over a decade at this point. But
It has been 2 years
since we did the
I've
last
gone to an Otafest.
It's wild. It's a glimpse into a future in my life where for some reason I won't be volunteering for Otafest. I don't know what that reason would be for, but it is kind of weird. But something that hit me sort of unexpectedly. Everyone knows that we've got these early bird sales. Traditionally speaking, we've had early bird sales. We've in the last few years, that's the model that we've gone with. But obviously, we're doing okay. We can't talk about all the bits and pieces, but we're doing okay in terms of how we're managing ourselves, and we run a couple of small events and things like that. But it wouldn't be a lie to say that we could always use support in a sense, but we don't typically go out and ask for it. We typically don't go out we need your thing to do your, whether it's money or just people showing up or whatever. But we did get a message recently on social media about people, some of our, I assume, longtime dedicated attendees who have said that they're going to hold back on buying their pre-purchase passes. And, that's always a curious thing. We're like, hey, we want you to save money. We want you to support us, but we want you to save money. And their reason was well, I can give you $5-10 extra bucks or whatever for a later pass. And that means that you'll be supported more. And
that's super sweet.
Yeah.
I could never ask people for that, right? But that's just, that hits me right in the heartstrings.
The last event that we ran was at the theater downtown. I think it's Opera. I can't remember the name right now. I'm sorry. But we ran that event, but we were asking for donations only. It was otherwise free to come, and people still ponied up a lot. And I don't know how everyone's doing during the last 2 years. Some people I'm sure have had some hardships that they weren't normally going to go through if a pandemic wasn't coming through and stuff like that. But to see that that's how sort of people want to support us. And, we always think of ourselves that we've always been growing, but we always try to be who we are as a con. And that is to support our community, and then have the community support us back is just always wild to me. We don't rely on it, but it's nice to know that it's there. So thank you. And if you want to buy your tickets early, please do. And you can save some money, and you can buy Otafest merch or other merch stuff from the vendors hall in general and support our general community that way. That'd be great. So don't worry too much.
Use the savings
Yeah.
for amazing merchandise. Shirts that express your love for Otafest, for Seth, for Aurora. Pins that you can stick to your favorite items, your favorite articles that will make them shiny and chrome.
Shiny. Like a goblin, just shiny.
Shinies.
I love it.
Shiny. It'd be a magpie if I just collected shiny things, and I do.
Oh, hell yeah.
I swear that my laptop bag is 2 or 3 pounds heavier just because of some of the pins I have on.
Oh, totally.
Oh, absolutely.
The worst thing ever is when I when I set it down somewhere and I notice that a pin has fallen off, and I'm just like,
Oh my god.
oh no.
That's
how
such
that
a
happened.
horrible
Oh, no.
sense of loss.
It really is.
So I used to have I'm going to call it denim. It's probably not the correct name to give it, but it's basically denim or canvas, I guess. But I used to have a bag like that, and I had pins kind of like all across the front flap that goes over. And at some point, that bag got really dirty, so I had to try and get the pins off so I could throw it in the wash. And first of all, when pins have been in for a long time, they actually kind of just don't want to come off, which really surprised me. I thought for sure it would just stretch the fabric and it just wouldn't come off. It would come off easier, actually, is what I was expecting. Second of all, remembering the exact orientation everything was in afterwards to put it all back was insane. Like, I don't know why I thought it was important to put everything back exactly the way it was before I washed it, but I did. And it was important to me. And it was hard.
It feels the right way when it's all set up right, and when you like change it, you're just like,
this is wrong.
What's going on here?
This doesn't feel right. Like, I remember,
I have no memories of this place.
I remember that I specifically had started from like the top left corner, and I was working my way down in rows, and like at some point when you run out of vertical space like that, you start putting the smaller pins wherever you can fit them. But like, it was important to me somehow to preserve the chronology of it.
There was an order, yes. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. I'm sure all of us can say the same. I don't have bags that I put pins on, but I do tend to keep them on lanyards and things. And lanyards, thankfully, I don't have to touch in terms of like washing very often. I don't know how many people wash lanyards. I'm sure some people do, and that'd be fine.
Probably
but I don't.
should.
Probably. There's a lot of
once
things.
every few years.
At the same time, I can't remember the last time I've ever washed a lanyard.
I don't have like long-term lanyards though, is the thing. I have like the lanyard that I wear for that year of Otafest, and then I put it away into like a little box where I keep my keepsakes for that Otafest.
Yes.
For my lanyards, like anytime I've had to rearrange anything, they still have to be in an order of some kind, and I don't know why that is. But I will say that everything you're saying makes sense. Like when it comes to like pins and decorative pieces, like they all have their place, and that's where they have to be for you personally, and that makes sense. You got to take a photo of it next time you wash it, I guess. Hey,
I really should have, and it didn't occur to me.
That's a smart idea.
No, it didn't occur to me at all. That's like, okay, you're talking to the person who purposefully challenges herself to put all her keycaps back without like having a reference to look at things. And the last time I did that on stream, I screwed up like 5 keys, but you know, I'm getting better at it. But still, like, this is something that people always tell you to do if you're taking all of your keycaps off and then having to put them back later. Just take a picture. And I just didn't think to do that with my pins for whatever reason.
Yeah, that's fair.
fair enough.
Fair.
Just as a quick aside, because this is not something I've talked about yet, but I recently joined the merch team. It's been something I've been wanting to do for a while. I hadn't joined because I was already doing some other things, but now I felt like it was a good time for me to join that team and get some new ideas rolling. And we've had meetings about, stuff that we can do. And we have, I won't tell you what it is, but we've already created some merch that has had like through our group input and through sort of approving certain things and whatnot. So I'm very forward to seeing people's reactions once they see what we've made. It's not anything huge, but we are going to create other things that will be huge. And this stuff that we have now is also just really fun, smaller items. But I hope people can look forward to seeing these, getting these for themselves, putting them in their weird little places that they belong for each person. But that's actually something that I need to keep in mind too. Is just like I make things that I would like to get in some sense, but I also like love hearing about like what you were saying, Nancy. It's like every item has its place, everything represents either a certain memory or a chronological sort of progression of time for you. And all of that makes sense to me, and that's something I want to keep in mind as well, because I don't always necessarily, we think about it, but we don't know that's what we're looking for. We didn't codify that information. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So,
Man, speaking of memories and progression of time, oh my God.
Yes.
YouTube did me dirty today.
Oh, no.
YouTube did me so dirty today. I was just scrolling through the front page of it, you know?
Yeah.
And you know how it just like recommends you things. Sometimes it recommends you things you like.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it recommends you things you've seen already. It recommended me the Bad Apple music video. The Toho one with all the silhouettes from a while ago. And I did not want to know or need to know how long ago that was. It was 12 years ago. It said right under the video, and I was just like, I physically aged.
did you get
decade
slapped by Father
looking
Time?
at that little bit of text. But last night I got to kind of relive a little small piece of my childhood, and I got to share it with Jay and Dio, who had never experienced it before.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
We watched the Super Mario Bros. Movie from 1993, I think it was.
1994, maybe?
1993 or 1994.
Jeez. I can't believe that's how long ago it was, but I also can totally believe it.
To put it into perspective, Dio, who has been a frequent guest on the podcast, she was basically born right around when that movie was released.
1993. May 28, so close to Otafest.
Wow.
Damn.
So this movie, it has a history, and it had a very troubled production, and that really does show in the final cut that you get in the movie.
Was there...
To say it lightly, it's weird.
Oh,
It's
okay.
weird. I will say, like, initial impressions, I didn't go into this with anything. I knew that this movie existed because I remember back in the old days when I was a wee child, I was allowed to go rent videos. Yes, that's something we did. Physical videotapes. And in those video aisles was the Super Mario Bros. Movie. I just never chose that one for whatever reason when I was browsing. But I remember seeing it. I just never really bothered watching it. Very interesting. The number one thing that really threw me off is that there was a decent amount of what do you call it? Practical effects when it came to like visuals and all that stuff. But there were also a fair amount of CGI. Not like lots and lots, but there was definitely some, and there were extended shots of CGI. And in 1993, that would have cost you an arm and a leg.
This was pre-reboot, keep in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
This was
Reboot came
before
out
Reboot.
in, what, 94, I want to say?
94, 95, something like that. But so some of the CG that you could expect to see would be like a wall in a cave becoming like a little liquidy.
Yeah,
when someone
like
touches it.
like Super Mario 64. You know how you enter a paintscape? That's what it looked like.
Exactly
it had that
like that.
waviness. But like literally,
I just realized this movie predates Super Mario 64.
it does because Super Mario
Damn.
64 was like 1996, 1997 at
What?
least.
Yeah.
maybe 1998.
I know exactly what effect you're talking about, too.
Yes, that little waviness, and like literally, they did that in the movie. And I have to say, for
One thing.
CGI, that's got to be expensive for them back in the day.
Yeah, that's a pretty high
that,
physics-based
and that was a
thing.
minor effect. There was this one shot that was probably about 10, maybe 15 seconds long, which is quite a lot of time for computer processing. That was essentially a panoramic cityscape shot of CGI, fully CGI.
Oh, I remember that. Yes.
And that blew my
And there
mind.
was also like there was also points where Bowser, or I should say Koopa, his face was just like being morphed and stretched and like
Yes.
dinosaurified, and it looked so.
Yeah.
This movie did not age well,
Well,
No.
but I think I think what struck me the weirdest for the movie, I haven't seen this movie in at least 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's how they took Mario, a character that at that point in time, you had like Donkey Kong, where he was just called Jumpman. You had the Super Mario Bros. Video game, and I think maybe Super Mario Bros. 2 and Super Mario World 3. Those were the amount of media that Mario had. There wasn't really a set personality for him.
Yeah.
They turned Mario and Luigi into the absolute pinnacle of a New Yorker stereotype.
Yes.
Like
And
you watch Louis Rossmann videos and you're like, wow, Mario was the prototype for Louis Rossmann.
the wildest part to me was that it's the Super Mario Bros. Movie, but John Leguizamo, which is the only character the only actor I knew in this whole thing, he plays Luigi Mario, which is the last name of the Mario brothers, in case you didn't know. And
Mario and Luigi Mario.
and which is actually, I think, canonical.
Is it?
But Luigi he is the main protag in the movie, which is not necessarily wrong, but it is weird. And
That
the
is
main
weird.
female protag, her name is Daisy.
Okay.
So it's Luigi and Daisy, but like there's no Princess Peach, there's no Paulina, even though there was definitely a dark-haired New York lady who could have been Paulina. Yoshi is a little sad. He is if you ever watched Jurassic Park 2 Lost World and there's that chained up baby T-Rex, that's what Yoshi is, except he was chained up in the bad guy castle, except he could access every room while being chained up, so it didn't really matter that he was chained
Like,
up.
how long was his chain?
Very strange.
Like,
Yeah.
he's in one room, chained up.
Yep.
He's like, oh, hi, Daisy. How are you doing today? I'm going to be your little lizard dog here.
Yeah, I am literally just
And then
litany
like they
of
change
weirdness.
completely different wings of the castle or whatever.
Yeah.
And here comes Yoshi walking and he's still chained up. Is like, how long is his how smart is this dinosaur not to get it just wrapped around a freaking table?
Also,
I don't understand.
Mr. Mario is a bit of a womanizer, and by Mr. Mario, I mean Mr. Mario. He, as he says, no lady can withstand the charm effects of the Marios, and he lays it on to a very sweet, large black lady who portrays some sort of like Thwomp-like character, kind of.
No, she was Big Bertha.
She was
one of
Big
the fish.
Bertha, which is like a fish character, but she was not underwater in any way. So she was more like a Thwomp because she jumped around and like beat people up. She's a very sweet lady though, actually. Really liked her character.
But you say she was a sweet lady. She stole the rock and flew away with it on rocket shoes.
The economy, man. It's tough. She has to survive too, my dude.
Rocket
But on the-
shoes, though.
She owned a
Yeah.
nightclub or something.
But on the other hand,
Economy's not tough for her.
she more than anything, she traded that rock for love, my dude. She was willing to trade that rock for love, okay?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
It was
But-
very emotional at times.
to put the state of this movie into perspective, so back in the early 90s, it wasn't really decided if video games were for kids or not because they were pretty damn expensive.
Fair.
And
still are.
surprisingly, a lot of adults liked Mario 2. And so when the studio, whatever studio it was, I can't even remember, bought the rights to do Mario, the director and the scriptwriters, they wanted like a dark and gritty and adult kind of Mario. And that laid a lot of the groundwork for what we received. Like there was one scene where everybody walked, the dinosaur was playing, and there were like a bunch of people in like neon underwear dancing around.
yeah.
Like it was some nightclub scene.
Wow.
It was actually the nightclub scene that Jay was talking about, where Mario was
Wooing.
was trying to seduce Big Bertha.
Uh-huh.
And like it was just, it kind of came out of nowhere, and the whole overarching plot was kind of like a reverse isekai plot.
That
where
what? Okay.
they were trying, they went to New Dino City instead of Brooklyn, and everyone from there wanted to go back to
Brooklyn,
to the real world Brooklyn and take over.
Yeah.
And it was just like, what's going on? Why is this like some sort of invasion plot? But then like halfway through production, Nintendo was like, wait, what the fuck are you guys trying to do here?
Yeah.
What the hell are you guys trying to do here?
What is happening
No,
here?
you can't do this with Mario. This is a kid's property. What the fuck?
Yeah.
And so like everything had to change. People got fired. Things got rewritten.
Oh, jeez.
And it got like kidified,
little bit.
Okay.
not enough,
Yeah.
maybe.
It was very.
It's just a really weird
Yeah.
melange of things.
I gotta say though that my favorite thing about the movie overall wasn't necessarily that it was like Mario themed, Nintendo movie-ish in any way. It really was. It is definitely a product of its time, which is to say, it is a '90s movie. Because I was pointing out all the things that they like to do in '90s movies. They were like every time they traveled somewhere. And I mean like the characters are driving a
my
vehicle,
God, the trolley music.
or whatever.
Trolley
Yeah.
music.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
like
trolley
the equivalent of like elevator music. They would have like a little dilly 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 like kind of score. Yeah, to like accompany traveling and stuff like that.
Yes, like trolley music.
Yeah, and
Okay.
it was just very like, it just felt like, I was a
One
kid.
thing that just
I was a
blew
kid
my
again.
mind. What one aspect of like the two core characters, Princess Daisy and Luigi, meeting was over like early payphone etiquette. And that was just, it's something that I haven't needed to think about as an adult ever.
Yeah, I would say that's true.
And I was just like, wow, that's absolutely, that's the way it used to be.
Damn.
Jeez.
And then
Imagine trying to date someone because you were talking to them at a payphone.
heck yeah.
I mean, these days it would be because we found a payphone and it was like a moment of historical significance of, oh my God, we found a relic. Quick, take all these pictures with it.
Yeah. Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I think the last payphone I saw was at the airport, and that was a few years ago. They've most certainly removed them all by now.
In my first year of college, in the lobby, there were two rows, like there were two walls just dominated by payphones. In the lobby of the college, there were at least 50 payphones. And by my third year there, they were all removed.
Crazy.
Like that's how fast of a transition it kind of was. Like they were everywhere until they were nowhere.
I know that I know City Hall still has 2 payphones
Really?
available to the public.
Are they functional?
Yep.
Wow.
I don't know what the rates
Cool.
are though. I assume it's like 25 cents, 50 cents,
Well, okay.
something like that.
I remember when it was the coolest thing if you could find a payphone that also took the prepaid card, because that was when SIM chips started being a thing. Because originally it was like, coins only, and then the new shiny upgraded ones came out, and those ones were like you can use a prepaid card now. You don't have to carry change anymore.
But that is
I think I only saw the card ones like once or twice.
that is the ultimate recognizance of being a 90s kid is not like necessarily payphones, but like that we lived in that shift before the great technological shift. There was like still like analog things, and we still did a lot of things through analog
Remember when
systems.
phones were corded?
Exactly, things
Yeah.
being corded, internet not existing.
In my day,
Lots of
you
things
had
like
to
that.
stand in the same place of the house to talk to someone on the telephone.
I will
Yeah,
tell
or-
you a funny anecdote about my grandfather. My grandfather, bless his soul, rest in peace, he told me once, You knew what kind of kids lived in a house depending on the state of their corded phone's cord.
Oh.
And 100% that's probably true.
Oh my God. Yeah. Because, like, if you were a house that respected order,
That cord was
that cord,
perfect, pristine.
it maybe had one or two kinks in it.
Oh.
But if you were a house of chaos, the cord was a mixture of itself. The beginning became the end. Everything in the middle was curled up on itself. It was like a rat king of electronic wire. And it was worthless.
We mostly just had
the only thing you could do
cordless
was
phone.
pull the receiver away from the base to try to get it to work. But no.
My family mostly had a cordless phone that was in the kitchen, but I do remember, especially.
I don't even think you can get a corded phone. Everything now is like wireless phones, cell phones, iPads,
hold on.
iPods.
Hold on. There's two things. One, first of all, I do remember, like, when you couldn't use the phone and the internet at the same time. Number two.
Oh, yeah.
I also remember, or not remember, there is a thing now. Do you remember, like, FisherPrice, like the not phone company, the toy company, and they used to make this, like, little kid's phone with a face on it?
Yeah, on wheels, and it showed up in Toy Story.
They're remaking those.
They have a working phone of that.
Yeah, they have
do?
a working phone of those. You connect it to, like, via maybe Bluetooth or whatever, to your cell phone for actual phone purposes, but you can dial using it, like using like the whole rotary system, and you can talk using the receiver. But unfortunately, it also just looks too kid-like. Like, no one has that major nostalgia for a kid's phone. You might have a nostalgia for, like, a corded phone for some reason, but like an actual frickin', like, kid style thing,
Nancy,
that's just a toy.
Nancy, you should get it and hook it up to your iPad to make, like, Google Voice calls.
Oh my God, no.
No? Well, what are you doing on your iPad? All you're doing on it is drawing. Is that all?
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so the
worst.
So we're gonna get into this weird iPad like rabbit hole that I've been in. So I bought an iPad specifically for doing digital art on, because I'm not part of the Apple ecosystem at all. I don't have a reason for having an Apple iPad other than the fact that I wanted it for digital artwork. And so I have gone through the rabbit hole of, okay, I went and I did the hardware research. I looked at a Surface. Did it work for me? No, I actually kind of hated it. Was there a suitable Android equivalent? No, there really isn't. So in the end, the hardware study that I came down to was, I got to buy this. So I got it. I went and I looked around on the App Store and I was like, oh, what do I want to buy for digital painting? Procreate seemed like it was the really big thing that everybody online was loving. And yes, it has a really cool interface, but there are things about it that really tick me off. And I was like, you know what? I own a copy of Clip Studio Paint. I should be able to use it on this, right? Wrong. If you want to use Clip Studio Paint, despite the fact that I own a license to it for my PC, I cannot use it on the iPad.
And it's
if you want to use it on the iPad, it's a monthly subscription. And it's not cheap.
On a PC, it's a one-time purchase that's not even expensive. It's like
It's
$30.
It is not expensive, and it's well worth your money.
It's like $30 if it's on sale. It's closer to 50 or 60,
which is still
it's not on sale.
Completely
Still reasonable for a really
over 100.
powerful piece of software. That's still really reasonable.
You know what?
But no, if you want to use it on your iPad, you gotta pay monthly.
Yeah.
What the heck?
So what have you settled on in terms of a art program?
Oh, let me tell you. I caught wind of a free beta project that lets you mirror your PC to your iPad. So I found it. And here's the best part. It's wireless. So you don't even need to plug it in if you don't want to. But the limitation is that it mirrors your screen. And if you have a screen that is larger than an iPad screen, which you probably do if you're like us and you have huge monitors, You have to like take like Clip Studio Paint, exactly position it, and then like make sure the edges are as big as you can make them, because it's a mirror and the iPad only has so much resolution on it. So, you know, that works perfect.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Hold the fuck on. Do you have 1080p or 20 or 1440p monitors at home? Or do you have 4K?
So on, let's say my gaming PC, for example, it's a gaming laptop. It's an MSI. And the resolution on that is, I think, 1920. It's one of the weirder widescreen.
Is it not a
resolutions.
16 by 10 resolution?
It's either 16 by 10 or 16 by 9.
It's probably
I
16
don't
by
think
10.
it's by
The
10.
2020 10-inch iPad, it is 1620 by 2160.
Yeah, so I don't have that
Like-
one.
Like, rotated, you could easily fit a 1080p screen.
You could.
What about iPad mini? Is it an iPad mini that you have?
No, it's not. It is an iPad Pro, but that's not the resolution that it runs at.
It's the iPad Pro.
It's an iPad Pro. I think I got
It
it.
should have an even higher
So-
resolution then.
Well, so I think what it's done here, and if for some reason the people who run this project are listening, I doubt they are, can correct me. But what it does is it goes by size, like the physical size of the screen.
Oh.
I don't know the reasoning behind this, but you do lose a bit of resolution mirroring your screen to your PC monitor. You do lose a bit of that crispness because the Pro screen is amazing. It is so pretty. But then you mirror it and then it's like, you know, some of that detail's lost a bit. But I mean, the utility of it is really difficult to argue with. So
Yeah.
they've actually come out with a little hardware piece now. The same company has come out with a little USB-C dongle that you could plug into a PC or a Mac. And that turns your iPad into an extended desktop, which is even better.
Wait, so you can use the iPad as literally another screen
Yes.
for your PC?
Yes, and
have
guess
a-
what I'll be doing for the next time I
That's
stream.
That's actually kind of fantastic.
So I
It
have
is.
a question
I'm-
through all this, though.
assuming the latency is acceptable.
It is.
Why-
Even wireless, it's pretty good.
Was there a reason why you didn't just go with a tablet?
Because I used
Like
to have
a-
a
like a
tablet,
dra-
and I
an actual
never
drawing
really
tablet, yeah.
got over, like a pen tablet, right? Like a Wacom tablet.
Yeah.
I never really got over the fact that I wasn't drawing on the same thing I was looking at. I could do it.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm getting like I have a like one where you draw on the screen, right?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So why didn't you just get something
Dio
like
has one
that?
too. She has an XP Pen one.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I didn't.
Like, why did you go for an iPad hardware wise when you could have just gotten a tablet where, you know, like a oh my god, the term eludes me. It's just driving me insane. But
Just
like
a screen tablet.
a screen tablet, yeah, where you're drawing on the screen and it acts as another monitor and so on and so forth.
Can I ask what the hardware support for those is like? Because in the beginning, when I was first looking, there were more than a small sample of people who piped up to say that the driver support for those dwindles very quickly after you buy a brand new one. Is that still true?
So I can't say much about Dio's XP Pen tablet, and I can't say anything about Jay's. Dio's XP Pen tablet, she's only had it for a little while, so time will tell. And I'm one of those horrible people with expensive taste that when it comes to tablets will say Wacom or nothing.
Yes.
Because software support for Wacom is better. In my experience, it's actually pretty good for the XP Pen stuff
It's
and the Huion stuff these days.
declined. Wacom's brand has actually declined a little bit recently. I can't remember
They
exactly
really have.
what
But
it was.
that's because they're stupidly expensive.
Yeah.
They are stupidly expensive on the hardware end, but it's also something to do with like their software actually sort of I think wasn't doing as well. Like their driver side support wasn't as good recently, I heard. But
My
anyway,
tablet is almost 10 years old. And it's still you can still download updated drivers. Like as far as I can tell, as far as I would say, Wacom support is doing very well.
because
And even like my really old, like my 12-year-old tablet you can still download the drivers for it. That tablet, it's a Bamboo Pen and Touch.
Oh, nice. Classic.
Very basic tablet.
Classic.
But it's a great little tablet. It was a great little tablet, I should say. And like you can still get the drivers for it. Support with Wacom has not been an issue. Hopefully, with XP Pen and stuff, it's not so much of an issue either. But considering my medium-sized Intuos, with like an 8-inch drawing area, it was $400 brand new.
Woof.
Yeah.
Compare that to Dio's 15-inch drawing tablet, a 15-inch area. It's literally a laptop screen.
Yeah.
And for her, it was $450 brand new.
Just as another price comparison on mine, I want to see if I can find this real quick here. But
So
I bought
modern tablets
Yeah,
by any other
I bought mine maybe I don't know about almost a year ago, roughly. I don't remember exactly. No, actually, it's got to be less than that. It's probably only been about 7 months. I don't know why I said a year. But mine is like a 22-inch screen tablet. It's Huion. Let me see if I can find it real quick. There it is. How much was it? It was about 700. I don't know how much is it. How much was the iPad? Because iPads aren't exactly
900.
cheap either. Christ. I mean, they are multifunctional in a different respect as well. So I
Definitely more powerful than having an extended screen. So here's the other thing is that it afforded me a lot more portability. Like I could just curl up on the couch with my iPad and just draw on it if I wanted to.
That's the thing about the iPad. That's the major difference here. And
I guess
that is
a
the
thing.
go-to reason to get an iPad over another screen tablet. With a screen tablet or an Intuos tablet, you need a PC.
You draw
with an iPad,
with the
it
same.
is the computer.
Do you
Exactly.
draw with the default stylus, or did you get something that was like specifically made stylus-wise for art? So it gave you either different response.
Did you get the app? It's an iPad Pro, so you have the Apple Pen,
I do.
right? Okay.
And it's amazing.
Is it good?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know
Oh yeah.
anything about it.
I love
obviously.
it.
The Apple Pen is as good as any Wacom stylus.
It's very, very responsive. Like I did do the thing where I went and I tried every single one of them, and yeah, it blows everything out of the water hardware wise.
Interesting.
Like for
Like
that type of format, right? Like I didn't really look at screen tablets because I didn't want to be tied down to a PC at my desk, let's say.
The only valid criticism about the Apple Pen that I could have is you do have to charge it up. I don't consider that valid of a criticism.
I don't think that's a valid
But
criticism.
You have to.
It's not.
You have to stick it. Don't you have to stick it in the Lightning port of the iPad to charge it?
Yes, if you have a Generation 1 Apple Pencil. This one is a 2, and that just sticks on magnetically to the side, so it's basically charging whenever you store it.
It has induction charging up when it's like just magnetically on the side.
That's not bad.
Okay, that actually is amazing.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, that's
why
smart.
I wanted
That's
this
a
one.
smart user
That's
design.
perfect.
Yeah.
So
That's actually brilliant. Okay.
yeah. So anyway, this whole adventure
I am a
has
huge Apple critic. That's kind of good.
yeah. I mean, I certainly had a lot of very heavy weighing of pros and cons before committing to this, because this is legitimately the only Apple product I've ever bought myself ever, and it was worth it.
Honestly, I think there's the iPad Pro Mini, or the new iPad Mini works with the Apple Pen or something. I have taken a cursory glance at that and briefly considered. But really it just comes down to I don't want to buy Apple products.
Yep.
I would rather go without than buy an
And I
Apple
respect
product.
that. For me and my needs at the time that I needed this, it made the most sense to buy it. And it has worked out so far pretty fantastically.
Nice.
I am very, very pleased with the purchase. Funny story. My new job, because I just spent a week unemployed, actually. My week of unemployment was very fruitful and very creative and very restful, which I'm very grateful for. But my new job, which starts on Monday, is going to be on a MacBook Pro. They have sent me a MacBook Pro. It is currently...
Oh my god.
It is going to be the second item of Apple manufacture that sits in this house. But this one I didn't pay for, so I don't know if that counts. But it's sitting here in its box because as much as it is a shiny new tech item in my house, and I love playing with shiny tech things, I am not allowed to use it until Monday morning at 8 a.m.
God damn.
It is the worst feeling.
You're just going to spend all
What
of
do
the
you mean
time
you're
in
not
the
allowed?
terminal.
That's kind of dumb.
You're just going to
because
enjoy it.
if you're, I mean, yeah, you're more. You've been introduced to the ecosystem via your iPad, but like, if it was me,
now.
for example, I have no experience with Apple products.
It's because
It would
she
be
is
weird.
not legally a member of that company until that point in time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but
I mean,
from a completely...
I understand the implications there, but like, I'm used to developing on a Linux machine. Linux machines that let you use them freely.
From a user comfort standpoint, you would want your employee to be like somewhat familiar with the machine they're about to use. Even
Yes, but if
on
they
an
break it
introductory
before
level.
they're technically an employee, then you have to fire them before they're even hired.
And how would that even work?
I highly
Exactly.
doubt that would be the case. I'd be like, I don't know, what if there was like something like it can what I'm trying to say,
To make it easy,
That-
they say, don't touch it until Monday at 8 a.m.
sure, but that can still, like, I'm just saying that the
that
product could
just
still be
solves
damaged
everything.
in the box.
I mean, okay,
If it's damaged in the box, then it's damaged in the
let
box.
me clarify. The machine is in perfect condition. I am not allowed to use it, despite the fact that I can turn it on.
Okay.
Like, chances are the account that would be set up for Nancy wouldn't even be activated until that point in time.
Agree. You know, that's accurate. And also,
Ideally.
I don't have login credentials. I can turn this on all I want, but I literally can't log in to use the laptop in any way, shape, or
Yeah.
form.
All
So anyway.
sure.
That's just been like the last 24 hours of me sitting here going, there's this shiny new thing. It's in my house. I am not allowed to explore it in the very least before starting on Monday.
So you are a Linux user, you are a Mac user. Are you a Windows 11 user?
So my gaming PC decided to pop up with a notification this week that said, hey, you're ready for upgrade to Windows 11. And I hovered my mouse over that button for a little bit and just like very nervously went, do I really want to become
No.
a user?
Don't do
an
it.
early adopter of Windows 11.
Don't do it.
And my very practical side said, no, don't do it. Early adopters always get screwed and wait for things to get a lot better before doing it. So I haven't yet.
So I'm not doing it because the initial build, the initial public release of Windows 11 made AMD CPUs anywhere from like 10 to 20% slower.
I heard about that.
And then their patch to address that made AMD CPUs even slower.
Oh, no. I thought they fixed it.
They might have by now, but I'm going to give it a solid until I can't use 10 anymore.
Damn.
Before I try out 11.
That's going to be... How long are they expected to support 10 until the end of life?
Oh, years. It's got years. Based off of how...
The initial end of life is going to be in a couple years.
Yeah. But the
So-
actual, like, the actual, we are no longer ever supporting this product ever again, like Windows 7 or Windows XP kind of
XP.
style. It's probably got 5
Like, I don't
years,
even have
if I had to guess.
enabled, so I literally cannot upgrade right now.
Okay.
If I tried to upgrade, it would be like, oh, you don't have TPM. We're going to undo everything. You're going to go back to Windows 10. And I would be like, okay.
Yeah. All right. But, like, are there really any compelling reasons to upgrade?
No.
Well, then, like,
not that
okay.
I know of.
So Sean has bravely agreed to beta test this for me. And I'm talking, we both just opened up our laptops this week to perform a minor amount of surgery to make sure that it has 2 extra terabytes in it, which was a lot of fun. Guitar picks are the most indispensable thing ever for if you ever need to open up an aluminum laptop that has like a million clips around the edges to prevent you from opening it.
Nice.
Guitar picks, best thing in the world. But, you know, we just did that this week. We did a lot of like really nice quality of life upgrades to stuff just all around the house this week, and that was one of them. And so immediately after that, he goes, "Oh, hey, I have enough room to download the Windows 11 update. Why not?" Clicks yes. And I'm like, oh my God, please don't fry the laptop right after we added 2 terabytes to it.
It wouldn't fry the laptop.
Wouldn't fry it. It also didn't break anything, at least that he's noticed so far. The most
Like the worst case scenario is that it makes you angry and you install Gentoo.
Nancy, you know what you need to do once you get access to your work laptop?
What?
Is install like a
Gentoo.
A virtual machine running Windows 10 and then have that upgrade to Windows 11.
Okay, so here's the thing. I've been told by ex-coworkers of mine who are actually going to be coworkers of mine again on Monday, that there have been intrepid individuals who have gotten their MacBook Pro to dual boot Linux, Ubuntu specifically. And I was like, damn, that's dedication. And they're like, yeah, I don't know if they still do it or if it's really worth the trouble, but that is a possibility. And then someone else also threw the fact that you can also run Windows on MacBooks now. So, like, there's no shortage of things to do if it turns out that someone absolutely despises Mac OS. But is it worth the effort to do that within the first week of working somewhere?
It is for games.
Honestly,
if that's all you have, if all you have is a Mac, but you want to play games, dual boot Windows onto it so that
it's
you
a
can
work
play
MacBook.
games.
Why are you playing games on
Right?
it?
Why not? Maybe it's the only computer you have for some reason. It's the only gaming-worthy computer you have because Macs have decent specs for gaming.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
I don't think there's a MacBook out there right now with a dedicated graphics card.
If
I think there is.
anyone here is an Apple nerd, please correct us if we're wrong. I would actually like to know.
I probably am wrong. There's probably one out there that has like a GTX 1660, and it's probably like $8,000.
Oof.
But
So
I don't know. My anti-Macism is showing. Right
I know.
now.
And so here's the thing. Because I knew that this job would involve Macs as your actual day-to-day machine, I went and I paid attention to the new streaming event that was like a couple weeks ago where they talked about their brand new ones and how the M1 chip is, in capitals, so great.
Oh, right. They're all using the M1 chips right now. So, no, they won't actually have like an NVIDIA or AMD GPU.
No.
They will literally have whatever GPU is. Yeah, it's just like the GPU built into the M1.
So the way the M1s work, if I understood
no.
them properly, is that they have unified memory, which means they just have one giant pool of RAM, and the chip just decides which part of the RAM that they're using for whatever task. And if those hype claims are to be believed, apparently these machines barely need to turn their fans on ever.
Yeah, M1 chips are pretty efficient, and they're power efficient, they're resource efficient.
So Jay, here's the thing:
good
just because
chips.
you can put Windows on there, that's Windows for ARM.
Yeah.
And none of your games are going to run on that.
Yeah,
You're
so
right
that's
about
that's
that.
kind of the
But,
other thing is that it's an entirely different architecture. So stuff that we
But-
currently have wouldn't work on it.
That's a
Thankfully,
new rig,
my
though.
MacBook is not one of the brand new ones because
I
I'm
was gonna
pretty
say.
sure demand and supply are, well, demand is very high. Supply is quite low right now for the brand new ones. So I
It's
didn't
not
end up
even
getting one of
that.
those.
M1 chips have been around for about 2 years at this point, I believe. Everything else doesn't use an M1 chip. That's the availability level for everything else. So it's more likely that you have just, like their prior builds.
You have.
I think I have a Core i7
3
in
or
here.
4-year-old Intel.
Yeah.
You have a 3-year-old i7 with integrated graphics.
Yeah.
Like that's not a gaming.
Oh,
beast.
no, it would not be.
No.
It doesn't have to be
Don't buy Macs for gaming.
It does not have to be a gaming beast. That is something that I'm going to rail against because even though I have an expensive ass gaming computer, you do not
Then
need,
buy a Raspberry Pi for gaming.
you don't need an expensive computer to play games.
Buy the Steam Deck.
If you need
instead of a
need a
MacBook.
triple, if you're going out only on triple A's and you need amazing graphics or something like that, or you want to future-proof yourself to the end of time,
If you're
then
running
do
off
that.
of AAA's, definitely use the Raspberry Pi.
But
you'll
obviously-
get at least 12 minutes off of AAA batteries.
But obviously, 99% of games are not AAA games. You can have a lot of fun playing games off of like Epic and Steam and whatever other game hubs that are available. And you can use those on, again, like dual booting on a Mac or running a machine that's like older hardware wise. It's not a problem. So don't be gatekeeping on games because of hardware. You don't need to do it that way. Don't.
That's fair. That's
I
fair.
play with
And
friends.
Don't
I
buy
play with
Apple.
friends that are playing on Apple, and they do dual boot, and
Which
we
is
play
impressive.
Steam games together. Okay, we play Phasmo.
Most people don't
together.
go through the effort of dual booting.
Back when I did dual boot, it was a huge pain to ever, like, if I was working on anything on Linux and then someone was like, hey, I want a game, and I'm like, but I'm working on things and I don't want to boot into the Windows and I have to shut everything down, and
I'm just saying.
way too much effort. Way too much effort.
But I mean, if you're gonna be gaming on the hardware that you have, you make it work.
Or you find a way.
You find a way. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Speaking of a way, we will make our way to the next episode next week.
Have a happy Halloween. Be safe. Be good.
I hope you had a happy Halloween, everybody. Goodbye.
May
Yeah.
you have all the best candy.
Be a goblin.
May the Tootsie Rolls be plentiful and the heavy-ass cans of pop be cold.
May you get full-size candy bars, my friends. Full
At
size.
every house.
May
Because
you get
that's
all
what
your
you
favorites.
deserve. Go to the rich neighborhoods. You know what I'm talking about. Okay, goodbye.
True.
Good night, everyone.